have been thinking about my second episode and came up with 10 different topics to discuss. However, I decided to do part 2 on the power of words we speak. If you ask why, it's simply because there is more to words. In today's episode, I will talk more about the power of words and give some examples of how we can change our words for the better. And before I start, I would like to apologize to my beautiful wife as she was not pleased with me calling her out on my first podcast. I must say that we have reconciled and are back to normal. Dear wife, forgive me. I must also confess that I did not use kind words during the discussion of my first podcast, which hurt her and me as well. It hurt me because I love her and I hate hurting her. I'm sure it is vice versa. And that gave me the idea for this podcast. Anyways, the past is in the past and the present is good. This led me think, not that I didn't already know, but I thought it is not just negative or positive words that matter. You can use positive words in a negative way and can still hurt people. So today, I will talk about kind words, loving words, and words filled with compassion and empathy. Welcome to Life with Soman Das. This is Soman Das, your kind, loving, compassionate, and empathetic host. In today's episode, we will be diving into the importance of using these words in our daily interaction. Have you ever noticed how the words we use can affect others? Using kind, loving, and compassionate words can make someone feel appreciated and valued, while using negative or harmful words can have the opposite effect, just like how we heard in our first episode. Let's start with kindness. Kindness is about being considerate and thoughtful towards others. When we use kind words, we show others that we care about them and that we value their feelings. Here's an example of how you can use kind words in your interactions. Say you notice a coworker struggling with a task. You can approach them and say something like, "Hey, I noticed you're having a tough time with this. Do you need any help?" This shows your coworker that you care about their well-being and are willing to offer support. Here's another example. Say you're at a restaurant and the server brings you the wrong order. Instead of getting angry or frustrated, you can say something like, "Hey, I think there might have been a mistake with the order. Can we get this corrected?" This shows the server that you're not blaming them for the mistake and that you're approaching the situation in a kind and respectful manner. It can also make the server feel more comfortable and willing to help resolve the issue. Here's a real-life example when you're having a tiff with your loved one. Where did I get this idea from? Say your spouse said something hurtful or unkind during an argument, and you're feeling upset. Instead of responding with anger or more hurtful words, you can say something like, "Hey, I understand that we're upset with each other right now, but I don't think it is helpful or productive to use hurtful words. Let's take a break and cool off, and then we can come back and talk about this in a more constructive way." This shows your spouse that you're not willing to engage in a hurtful or disrespectful conversation, and that you value communication that is respectful and constructive. It can also help de-escalate the situation and prevent further damage to your relationship. Moving on to loving words. Love is often associated with romantic relationships, but it's not just limited to that. Love is about showing genuine care and affection towards others. When we use loving words, we can make someone feel special and appreciated. Here's an example of how to use loving words in your daily interactions. Say you're catching up with an old friend. You can say something like, "I'm really glad we are catching up. You're such an important person in my life, and I appreciate our friendship." This shows your friend that you value their friendship and that they are important to you. Here are some examples you can use with your spouse if you're married. "I love you and I'm grateful for all that you do for us. I appreciate the way you always listen to me and support me. You make me feel so happy and loved. I'm so lucky or blessed to have you in my life. I trust you completely and know that you always have my best interest at heart. I admire the way you handle challenges and always find a way to make things work out. Thank you for being patient with me and always showing me kindness and understanding." Well, those are some examples that you can try using in your daily interactions. It really helps. It really lifts up the spirit of your spouse. Now, compassion is all about understanding and empathizing with others. When we use compassionate words, we show that we care about someone's struggle and are willing to support them. Here's an example of how to use compassionate words in your interactions. Say you have a friend who's going through a tough time. You can say something like, "I'm sorry you're going through this. I can't imagine how hard it must be for you. If you ever need to talk, I'm here for you." This shows your friend that you care about their well-being and that you are there to support them. Here's another scenario with your spouse. Your spouse comes home from work looking visibly upset. You notice that they seem stressed and overwhelmed. Instead of dismissing their emotions or trying to offer quick solutions, you can approach them with compassion and understanding. You can say something like, "Hey sweetheart, I can tell that you're going through a tough time at work. Do you want to talk about it? I'm here to listen and support you." This shows your spouse that you care about their feeling and well-being and that you're willing to offer emotional support. As your spouse shares their feeling and experiences, you can continue to use compassionate words by acknowledging their struggles and validating their emotions. You can say things like, "That's really tough. I can understand why you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed. I'm here for you, love." By using compassionate words in this scenario, you're creating a safe and supportive environment for your spouse to express their emotions and work through their challenges. This can strengthen your bond as a couple and help you both navigate through difficult times together. Lastly, let's talk about empathy. Empathy is very, very important for one to have. Empathy is about putting ourselves in someone else's positions, very often said someone else's shoes, and trying to understand their perspective. When we use empathetic words, we show that we understand and respect someone else's feelings and experiences. Here's an example of how you can use empathetic words in your interactions. Say you have a friend who's going through a breakup. You can say something like, I can imagine how tough this must be for you. Breakups are hard, and it's okay to take time to heal. I'm here for you. This shows your friend that you understand and respect their feelings and that you are there to support them. Using kind, loving, and compassionate words can make a huge difference in how others feel and how they perceive us. As we have discussed, words are powerful and can either uplift or harm those around us. Remember, kindness, love, and compassion are the keys to building healthy and fulfilling relationships, both personally and professionally. Before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a call to action. Take some time today to reflect on the words you've been using and how they might be affecting those around you. Are there any changes you can make to use more kind, loving, and compassionate words? Start small and watch as your relationships grow stronger and more meaningful. So the next time you have an opportunity to interact with someone, consider the words you use and impact they have. In our next episode, we will discuss the importance of setting boundaries in our personal and professional lives. It can be difficult to set boundaries, but it's an essential skill to learn to protect our time, energy, and mental health. So be sure to tune in next time for Life with Somin Das. Thank you for listening. Somin Das signing off.